What is something your therapist said that sticks with you to this day? What was adaptive then is maladaptive now. Basically, the tools you used to survive trauma as a kid aren't necessarily healthy tools as an adult. Gotta learn new skills and use better tools. My husband's therapist phrased it this way: as a kid, you developed superpowers. Those superpowers kept you alive. That constant high alert listening for dad's footsteps to see if he's mad today spidey sense? That's what enabled you to hide when you needed to. It kept you from getting hit many days. Your brain was doing exactly what it needed to do. But dad's not going to walk through that door anymore. So that super sense of being on high alert isn't so helpful anymore. Instead, it's just overwhelming you. While we're grateful you had it when it was needed, it's time to learn to shut it off. Totally blew his mind. You can be thankful for a tool, skill while recognizing that you need to outgrow it. If you're finding it difficult to put everything in your head down on paper because it's too much, imagine how heavy it must be to carry that around 24/7. I've journaled during my darkest times ever since then. She was right. Yard by yard life is hard. Inch by inch life's a cinch. Comparison is the thief of joy. Everyone is the hero of their own story. You teach people how to treat you. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Shit is warm, meaning people will happily sit in a bad situation because it's comfortable and familiar, even if it's shit. You can't control how people behave. But you can control your distance to them. You don't give yourself enough credit for the things you do achieve. Don't believe everything you think. This mainly addresses stories we tell ourselves about the world, ourselves, and our worth. That anything you tell other people is a choice. You don't have to explain yourself or feel like you have to tell anyone anything. It really just helped me as an adult with feeling like I had to tell my mom certain things but more telling her when I wanted to. I don't take insurance. Ha ha ha. But true. Prove it. Show me the receipts. If you truly feel this way about yourself, and are sure it's true, then there will be evidence to back it up. There was no receipts. Forced me to face some realities my brain was lying about. The power of, and. I can be thankful for surviving the struggles I've experienced and be sad about the losses they caused. That there's no such thing as should. There's what happened and what's happening, but spending time, energy on what should have happened or what shouldn't have happened takes away from what in fact did happen. You don't give yourself the same grace that you give others. You should be kinder to yourself. Sometimes when you set boundaries for yourself, you almost need to draw a line and then sit there with a shotgun to make sure no one crosses them. But once people learn you're not going to allow anyone to cross your boundaries, they will adjust and stop trying to sneak past them. Everything that you do is to please someone else. You've got to do things for yourself to avoid burnout. She doesn't have too many one-liners. But the way that she guides me into getting to the root of why something is bothering me, or why my thought process is the way that it is, and ways to change patterns slowly so that it doesn't feel overwhelming blows my mind after every session. She guides and leads the conversation so that I am able to really get to the root of issues and then encourages me to communicate my needs better. Your feelings are valid, but they're not always true. She said it in the context of imposter syndrome and feeling as though I was one wrong move away from losing everything. Of course I felt that way. I'd been on survival mode since childhood. Reality was, however, I was doing great in my job, had a fiancé, husband who loved me, and friends who actually cared about my well-being as much as I cared about them. I wasn't about to lose anything in that context. I've found this also applies to other, nastier, thoughts and feelings I have about myself. The feeling that I'm not good enough or worthy of love is a valid feeling. It is 100% untrue. I still feel it sometimes, but now I have the tools and coping skills to recognize that it is okay to feel that way even if it's not true. Your feelings are always valid, even if they don't stem from a place of truth. Realizing that has been a huge part of processing those feelings and healing from my childhood trauma. Everything everybody does is for some sort of payoff. When people deliberately do things to make you crazy, their payoff is that they can make you crazy. They can control you with the simplest little button push. Don't give them their payoff. Either use the gray rock treatment. Or do something that makes them even crazier. Never be predictable. Never let them know what they are going to get back. That way they can't plan ahead to win when they respond by getting butt hurt. Don't fall into the guilt trap they have set for you. Don't take a defensive approach. Laugh in their face. Basically, if someone is trying to get under your skin, pretend and act like you're a gray rock. Rocks don't have skin. Any question they ask, you answer as devoid of emotion and detail as possible. Keep everything short, clear, and calm. They are looking for your typical reaction and feedback loop to feed off of and drain your emotional energy. Don't give it to them. Stonewall them. There is no closure with a narcissist, there never will be. About me not accepting my postpartum belly. You hate your belly because you grew up seeing your mother hate her own belly. If not for yourself, learn to love your body so that your daughter does not grow up hating hers. Your fortune telling again. Whenever my anxiety starts to spiral and I go on talking about everyone else's thoughts and motivations, that I'm assuming. Now I hear her voice saying this sentence and it reins me back in, reminds me that I'm doing a lot of mind reading lol. That both people in a relationship need their own tribe, their own friends. If they all get along cool, but if one party is the other's whole world, it put way too much pressure on them and things will unravel fast.